Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode.
Welcome back.
Today, we wanted to share with you an incident that happened recently and our two completely different experiences of that incident. Would you like to set it up, Amanda?
Well, you kind of saw it more than I did. Well, we kind of did, but you do it.
Okay.
I'm not. I just want to try to not to cuss very much.
Amanda and I were out for a walk yesterday, and as we were crossing a street, so we were in the middle of the intersection, a lady turned left into the intersection and came probably within, I would say, about 8 to 12 inches away from hitting us. She never saw us. I was wearing a bright blue Superman shirt, and I'm 6'4", so it's kind of hard to miss me sometimes.
It's very easy to miss me all the time.
Never saw us, never slowed down, pulled into the parking lot of the business that was across the street. And we continued across the street, and both of us said something. And then Amanda got very upset. Pissed. She
Still pissed.
turned, skipped bright red and went straight to purple.
What?
You did, your facial color.
Oh.
So she wanted to go and
kick her ass.
Round one, fight!
I was so pissed.
I was not a fan of that approach. And I asked Amanda, what does she want to accomplish at this point? Amanda was so agitated, she refused to continue walking, so I went over and said something to the lady.
Yes.
I knocked on her window, on her passenger side door, because she was in the car on her phone, texting or something. She opened her door, and I let her know that she almost hit us. And she responded with, "Oh." And I said, you were very close. You might want to just pay a little bit more attention or something, because what else am I going to say at that point, right? And she said, "Okay." I reported that to Amanda, and I don't think that answer was satisfactory to her because she was even more mad. We went home after that, and Amanda continued to be mad. So now I want you to share from your perspective why you were so mad, and then I'll come back and I'll share my perspective of why I wasn't.
Well, essentially, I'm not supposed to live a very long life, per Google. And when this is the second time that something has happened where it was like a really close call. As a runner, I used to almost get hit probably every other time. So there is something that like enrages me when it's like it's a real tricky area because I have my earphones in, but it's always like low volume, and I look left and right, and the amount of times that I've been almost hit is just astounding. This in particular is like, I have glioblastoma, and I'm not supposed to like live very long. And to me, it was like, you almost just cut my very short life even shorter. And I know she didn't wake up that day and intended to do it, but she did. I don't know what I was really trying to accomplish, but I was pissed that it had happened.
And then when we went back home,
like level 10. I don't get a level 10 very often. I mean, it's very rare to get a level 10 if it's not you. And so
yeah, that's not rare at all.
It's the only one
Tuesday.
Oh, come here.
Are you gonna make an appearance?
Come here, Mama.
Hi, sweet little girl.
I knew that was gonna happen.
So you don't get a level 10 very often in case it's me, which then it's every other day, pretty much.
Then it's all the time. But this one really got me.
My question, I guess, would be is according to Google, your life's not supposed to live that long. And this was kind of my point I was making yesterday when the moment had passed. Why were you wanting to still devote your time after the fact to being angry and upset? I mean, we were home, and it was quite some time before you finally let it go. And you were wanting to go back, you were wanting to yell at her, you were wanting to cuss her out. and you were saying you couldn't, and I kept saying, well, no, you can go back and do that. I mean, what if she had a gun? And then your life is really cut short.
Right.
So why was it so important for you, I guess, to be or to maintain that level of upsetness after the fact?
I don't think it was like an important, like it wasn't like, oh, this was very important.
It was taking priority over everything else.
But that's how you think. I don't think like that. So for me, I was just livid, pissed, angry, mad, like all the things. And really, since diagnosis, I think I've only had one other instance where I was just very, very mad. So it's not often, but it does happen. And this is just like, I'm just being very honest, real, raw. Like, it pissed me off bad, like big time. I'm over it today, but
I don't know. You were pretty fired, excited about having this video.
I was like, yeah, let's get her.
Exactly.
Not really, but
to me, I'm on the opposite end of it, where it seems of a consequence, because here's what ends up unfolding for our experience in life. We have that moment. We're not, and I use this example in workshops all the time, where there's two people at a bus stop. They both get mud splashed on them. One goes away pissed off and angry and blames that incident for the reason their whole day is awful and horrible, and they end up having bad interactions with their family, bad interactions with work, all because of this moment. And then there's another person who realizes how close it was for their life ending, and they are just so grateful that didn't happen. They're so grateful for the next moment. They're so grateful for, and so their interactions after that are compounded on gratitude. They interact with their coworkers a different way. They interact with their family a different way, so on and so forth. And it was interesting because I feel like after that experience, you and I literally played out in those two dynamics of the bus stop.
Yeah.
You came home, you're angry, you're upset. It soured your interactions with me right afterwards. It soured your interaction with your mom afterwards. It soured the interaction. And so had that have been our final moment, if there would have been an earthquake or something happened or somebody has a heart attack, whatever it is, that would have been how it ended. And what was especially sad about it was because you had surprised me earlier in the day with giving me this just little handwritten card. Mm-hmm. And you don't usually do things like that. you do angry a lot, but you don't usually do gratitude with me. So I was really, really touched and moved by it. And I just felt so happy and connected with you. And then it was gone because you were...
No, that's your choice. That's on you, because
it's not...
That card had nothing to do with...
because you are no longer... When you're in a state of anger and you're remaining in a state of anger, you are no longer accessible through a state of gratitude. There's not that path to connect anymore. You're over here and I'm over here. It's like you're rooting for the Red Sox and I'm rooting for the Yankees or something like that.
So, while you're talking,
mm-hmm.
I forgot another reason why I got really mad about that lady was, I don't need to know her, but if she were to have hit us and potentially killed at least one of us, it was close. That would have ruined her life for the rest of her life. So it's not even just like me being angry because I feel like my life was in jeopardy, mm-hmm. but also that would affect her life and her family's life, and if she has kids or whatever. Like,
totally agree.
So that was another thing, was like, I was just so pissed because this girl's lack of attention, being on your phone, not hitting, like almost hitting two people.
I agree. So would she have, and I think those are all really valued points, you go over and have an interaction with her and say, hey, you effing whatever.
I mean, I wouldn't have just led with that.
You would have. If you would have been, if I would not have been sitting there trying to calm you down, you were ready to go. And so would she have received those important points you would have said at that point?
No.
Probably not.
No.
What would she have gotten and said, probably?
How derelict trying to find her.
Yeah, and so then what is she going to probably do? She's going to probably
beat my ass because I only have one side.
No, exactly. Works. She's going to probably respond. She's going to, energy typically mirrors, and right. So she will probably mirror your energy. And you have extremely valid points, but you would have completely lost it with her and so then what ends up happening? You're right. You get in a fight with her because she's defensive. She sees this crazy lady coming over screaming at her. Maybe she doesn't have a gun, but she's she doesn't even realize what just happened. You're screaming incoherently because you're so consumed by anger.
It's not screaming.
I'm saying in this hypothetical example, because if you would actually had an interaction with her, it would have kept escalating and you hulk out. So then she gets out. She's defensive now. She's not sure why you're in her face, but you're just young, so she's fearful. And let's say that she
should have watched out.
But no, let's just say she shoves you because she's trying to get away from you, and you fall down and hit your head.
Oh, I know. That's why I was like, "Ooh, I probably shouldn't do that."
No, you weren't. This probably shouldn't do that. I was saying, walk away, walk away.
Well, yeah. It's just how it was.
I know this is how it was, but it's that thing. Like, I think this is a really good thing because it's so easy to be angered and stay in anger. It really is. And that's not to say you're not justified in feeling angry. I think what's my point here is what you were willing to risk. Just the same as it would have ruined her life if she would have hit us. It could have ruined your life or ended your life if you would have gone down that angry path.
Yes, we just process things a little bit.
There's nothing wrong with that. I think that's the lesson here, though, with this, is that a lot of us get angry really quickly, and we only see things from our perspective. We go into a path of feeling just totally justified, rationalized in that anger, and we don't think through what the consequences of it could be. And oftentimes, it would come at the sacrifice of the very thing that we want to try to ensure and protect, which is the longevity of your life or the value of your life.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anyways, we just want to share that moment.
We just want to do Fight Club.
We had completely different experiences of it afterwards. I thought this would be kind of a fun one to switch up and do something a little bit different. Do you have anything else you want to say about this?
Does anyone know, what kind of martial art classes that people who only have a right side or who would have a right side weakness? That's what I need to learn.
Well, that's perfect. I'm glad you brought that up because we'll end with this little thing. I remember I took a martial arts class once, and the instructor was imparting his wisdom to the students and saying about how he had learned from this multi-degree, very decorated black belt about the excitement of being able to use the skills finally in a real-world situation. And the instructor found himself walking down a street. Across the street, there was this lady getting mugged at an ATM. She was calling for help, and he thought to himself, oh my gosh, this is great that I finally get to use all these skills, all this training, these decades of devotion. And he walks out in the middle of the street, and he sees that the guy has a knife. He stops in the middle of the street and starts yelling at the guy and insulting him. Hey, you loser. Hey, you idiot. You blah, 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 and getting the guy's ego all riled up. So the guy disengages from the lady and starts walking over towards him. And when he gets about halfway between the lady and him, he yells at her, run. So she takes off running the other way and waits for him to close a little bit more. And then this class asks him, well, what did you do next? Did you kick his butt? And he says, no, I took off running. They said, why'd you take off running? You kicked his butt. And he said, maybe I could have, but he had a knife. You never know what's going to happen. And I think that's only such a great piece of wisdom from somebody who devoted a lifetime to being able to defend himself. The best defense was still to be able to move away and not subject yourself to potentially having your life ended. All right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, we love and appreciate you all. We will see you next time. Thanks for laughing along with us. And we'd love to hear, how would you have handled that situation?
Team Amanda, please. I'm going to need a lot of support.
Bye.